What's up, everyone? Today we have a purifier, Tanaka, however you would say that. It is a TBC as in Charlie 340PF. Owner of this says that it was running fine, but needs a couple things replaced. So he wanted me to do a couple things. One, new air filter, new grommet and hose, which oddly enough doesn't come together. You have to buy them separately. So you have the other one in here, and a brand new carburetor kit, which unfortunately does not come with the grommets because this is a generic kit. So take this off. It's like Garage Dog found something to chew on. That's good. Wow, my hands are oily. I can barely even get a grip on that. I've worked on, I think, 2 of these before. They're not very common. Not very much common. Yeah, filter would have worked, but it's definitely old. It's not horrible though. But that's what he wanted, so that's what he gets. We have a... Nope. Ooh, what's in here? Maybe there's something in here I can use. Got these little bits from a drill bit set that I purchased once. They're sometimes quite useful. They seem to have, I don't want to say common sizes, but uncommon sizes. Like this one. Perfect. So, because these screws are plastic, I'm going to do it by hand. That and my impact is inside. I just finished up a rather long and intensive project outside, which is just perfect because it's 90, well, let's see here. The forecast said it was 94 degrees. My thermometer outside, which is in a generally not concreted area, it's in the front, has some grass and everything, and semi-shaded, so it's already 95. So I'm sure if you're in the sun, it's going to be well above that. That's one of those. Bring you in. So it has one of these throttle cables that actually screws into this plate that's on top of the carburetor. You have to take the lines off and unscrew it. The amount of threads here, though, you want to be especially conscious of because this will affect how the throttle functions. So you're going to want to count them. Let's see here. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 full threads. So make sure to do that. So I'm going to unthread it, undo the fuel lines, and then bring it over to the carb station. So here we have it. I was wrong. It actually doesn't screw in here, but this will still adjust the throttle. So if it's not returning to idle, you can push it further in or twist it. I mean, so that's good. The ones that you actually slide in here, like this one, those are nice. Those make it a lot easier. I think this is like an 8mm wrench, just fits over there. Okay, so first things first. This was the gasket. That was not easy to come off. Something to kind of remember is these little indentations or extrusions. You want to make sure you remember which way they go. They usually go on the opposite end of the fuel lines or the fuel intake. These carbs are nice because they're not adjustable. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. They're nice for, in general. If over time they might run a little nasty, so you can't really adjust them, hence not adjustable. But at least when you first clean it and put it together, it's kind of nice because it's put it together, turn it on. I have had to drill the jet out once though, but that was, I want to say, not necessarily the carb's fault. You know what, before we do this, let's see what's in this carb kit. Ball, that's good. Or bulb. We'll check. And then we have the gasket, which we're making sure right now if we're going to be ruining. And it looks to be the right one. And oh, I knew it. The difference is this. There's a little bump on the end of that, and that can change your how the needle functions quite drastically. So we might not be able to use that one. So let's see what this is. Just a standard. Okay, that's good. Just because we have a gasket doesn't mean we want to ruin this one, because we don't want to leave any material behind if we don't have to. Give the next one a clean surface to mate to, like this. I'm not pressing down very hard at all, I'm just kind of, because you don't want to scratch it, just hard enough to kind of pick up on the end of that gasket material. Okay. This is usually where the GUIs come in. Inside that little brass piece is the jet. That's the one that you sometimes have to drill out. Oh yeah, so anyway, back to that story. It wasn't the carb's fault. The engine had been modded, imported, so it just wasn't running right. It needed more fuel. You don't have to take this off. I want to. Now we have to remember this goes on the opposite end of that. I mean, it's easy enough to figure out, but why? Why don't we could just do a quick little mental check? Now I say this is a non-adjustable carb. That's half right. There is adjustment down there. That, however, is for the idle. But if you're running just a tad lean on the high end too, and you can get away with a little low end addition, you can adjust that by help. Okay, well, I can put that in the cleaner. I am going to put this, but I want to take off the needle. Oh, spring's still on there. My hands are dirty now, but it's going to go in a cleaner, so I'm going to leave that gasket on there. Okay, put this in a cleaner, bring everyone back when it's done. Okay, so here we are. I have our carb kit here. So we are going to be needing this gasket. Like I said, this is a general one, so not everything's going to be used. We discovered this is useless because of that little tab that's too long. We're just going to put that in the for different project pile. I don't like to use a needle either, mainly just for the fact that I just don't, I also need this gasket, I just don't always know if it's the same, and while I can adjust it, I just don't really want to. This is the one we need. You want to just double check. It comes with 2 different types. We're going to be using this one. Well, 2 additional different types. So yeah, I'm just going to put these in the area for extra parts. It's nice and clean. Now, the fun part. We are going to be putting gasket on, then the diaphragm, and if you're ever confused on what order it goes, on a carburetor when there's a diaphragm, there's always going to be a really smooth side, and there's going to be a side that has ridges or something that's not nearly flat or smooth. The flat side is always the one touching the diaphragm. Okay. Now we're going to be putting the spring on because this is being held together all by one big set of 4 screws. That and the needle. The reason why I don't use a needle on the kit is this needle was, I don't want to say special for this, but it's, you know, it's the one that came with it. It has no chatter on it. It's a good condition. I didn't have a problem. Well, he didn't say he had a problem with flooding, so I have no reason to suspect the needle's bad. So I just don't want to go down that long set of chores of having to, what is that little screw? Adjust it, have it leak, readjust it. If I could find that little screw. I mean, that part is just annoying. I mean, over time, you just end up knowing exactly where to adjust it to, don't get me wrong. But there is that learning time. It has to be here because it's here somewhere, just so small I can't see it. It's hiding, that's what it's doing. It's under something. Let me take a look for it real quick. It was stuck to the screwdriver and then it fell off over there. This is the annoying part. Little screw, small hole. Don't want to cross thread it. Don't want to over tighten it either. There we are. I will still need that. Next, gasket goes on first. Where's my, here it is. And the diaphragm as well goes on. Well, I guess that's not really a diaphragm. And again, yeah. Okay. So now, put this back on. Oh, what am I doing? You know what? I was hoping that this one would work. I just don't think that it will. Let's check it out. Is it bigger? But that. You know what we're gonna have to do? Let's measure the old one and the new one that came with the kit. Well, eye measurement. It's just a tad. What I think I might do, oh no, that's garbage. Put this one back. I think what I might do instead is bend that down. Let me go ahead and do that because that can be quite annoying to watch. Okay, so I bent the little tab down a little bit more to kind of make up for the increased height. So put that down. So fingers crossed, it's the same. You go online, you type in the kit that you need in hopes that it will actually be the one that you need. In reality, however, it's always just a little bit different. So always keep that in mind. I'm going to put a new one of these in here. That's a cool check. It allows fuel to go in one way but not the other. And now we're going to be putting the ball on, like so, or the bulb. And put our long set of screws in. This is a fairly tall stack of parts and everything, so it's important to make sure that the gaskets and diaphragms and everything are in the right order. Otherwise, you'll have a leak, or it just won't run right, or at all. And just as the same like with everything else, make sure you go in a crisscross pattern. This is too big of a screwdriver. Let's find one that's right. Nope. There we are. I've said this before in a lot of videos, but the screws on here have dots. That means it's not the standard screw, or a JAS, which is what this screwdriver is. It's a Japanese style of screw, I believe. I could be wrong on that one though, but just know that you have to have a special type of screw for a JAS, or at least the one with the dot. If you learn anything about that, just know the dot is important. And of course, when I remember to put this on the right way, let's see here. No, it's the other way. Huh. Yeah, I chose to put it on in the order it came off, not the way it's going to go on. Or, that didn't make much sense at all, really. But you get the point. Okay. Sometimes if you just buy this carburetor, or one that's very, very similar to it, then like a cheaper one, because if for whatever reason that you would need to, you can always take this little bracket off, or this little plate. So for any reason you do need to replace the carb, and you notice it's really hard to find one with this exact plate, or like for this one, I think the manufacturer isn't around, or maybe it's Hitachi. A lot of the parts I got said that they were Hitachi, or maybe Hitachi is just the one that took it over, I'm not sure. But in any case, you can take this off and put it onto a new one. It just sits right on top. Okay, and put this on the Weed Eater. I already put the lines on. It's just simple. Pick up, put in, put fuel filter on. That's it. So go ahead and put this on, bring everyone back. So, got it all put back together. Get some stuff out of the way. Word of advice on the grommet that doesn't come with a line. Choose a line that's thinner walled. It'll be a lot easier. Anyway, so let's give the prime. There we are. Feels filling the bulb. I can feel it and see it. Appears to be no leaking. That's choke. It's on. Let's give her a yank. Looks like it's good to go. No more leaking. Everything looks like it's good. New filter, a new plug-in like the owner requested. In the beginning it was running a little high and idle. I did lower it, but the end of it did stop spinning. Even at the other higher idle speed. Sometimes when you first start it up too, it might be a higher idle just because it's a little on the lean end. It does take a little bit of time for the fuel to kind of go in every little nook and cranny of the carb and fill to the appropriate amount. So that then it's just, cold. It takes more fuel to start a cold engine. Just the nature of how gasoline engines work, they have to warm up a little bit. Yeah, this should be about it. So if you like what you see, keep on watching. Definitely subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see everyone later.